Is there anybody from Mithila region? Is there anybody in the class who is from Mithila? North Bihar? North Bihar, Jharkhand, Nepal. Is there anyone from that region? Himanshu, you are from there, so you must be familiar. Okay, there are many. Who are, means Ayushi, are you from there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm happy that there are people from that side. It will be nice to have a discussion among us, and you will be able to contribute much more than what I say. So maybe you are living in that place and you have been, you may have primary information about these particular art forms. So you'll be able to contribute and share much more. Okay. So we'll be looking at Mithila, or better say Madhubani art tradition, which comes from the region of Mithila. So that's what we are going to see today. So this is the region where that kind of Madhubani art is prevalent. It includes northern Bihar, parts of Jharkhand, and also some parts of Nepal. It extends to Nepal. That is the region of Mithila. We will try to understand that region and also the people of that place and also the art they practice. So in the last few lectures, in the last module, we were seeing tribal or indigenous people's art. So that art we saw, whether it is Warli or Gond or Shaura, they were all practiced by a particular group of people. But this is more a folk art tradition. It is in that region, all the people practice that. People from different communities, different castes practice this form of art. Madhubani art. And the nomenclature of this artwork is, we call it Madhubani. Why is it called by that name? There are different explanations I have seen. One is that this land is known for making honey, making madhu. It's a forest area, so its forests are very famous for getting good honey. So honey in large volume they make. And that is why that region came to be known as Madhubani. That is one explanation. Or the literal meaning, Madhuban. So it means, Madhuban means forest of honey. So it is probably derived from these two words, Madhuban. Madhuban means forest of honey. It is from that, these two terms, Madhubani derived. And sometimes it is also said as Madhuvani. Madhuvani means sweet voice. Voice sweet like honey. So Madhuvani. So sweet voice or language. So these are the this is the root from which the term or name Madhubani comes. And that region, as you understand from the map, it is mostly in the Bihar, northern part of Bihar, then Jharkhand, and also Nepal. And there are various traditions, ritualistic traditions and beliefs associated with the people who live there, and also they have incorporated them into their work of art. Or there are traditions or legends upon which they claim the origin of this particular art form. So different regions of Mithila are famous for the art production, the art which is known as Madhubani art. So the language of the people is Maithili. The people of Mithila, they have a language of their own, that is Maithili. And the speakers are referred to as Maithils. So those who speak Maithili language are called as Maithils. Like those who speak Malayalam are Malayalis. So in that way, Maithils. And the name Mithila is commonly used to refer the Videha kingdom. Videha. As well as to the modern territories that fall within the ancient boundaries of Videha. There was a dynasty, Videha. So that territory of the Videha kingdom came to be known as Mithila. And in 18th century, Mithila was still ruled in part by Raj Darbhanga, and the British people annexed that region without recognizing it as a princely state. So in the recent times, in 18th century, parts of that area was ruled by Raj Darbhanga, and Raj Darbhanga was ruling it, and British Raj annexed that region without accepting it as a princely state. And about the city of Mithila, Mithila is considered as an ancient city of India, and it was the capital of Videha kingdom. And the name Mithila is said to have been come from the mythical king Midi. He was supposed to have been created from the body of his father Nimi. So the term Mithila, the name Mithila, is derived from after a mythical king Midi, and he was supposed to have been created from the body of his father Nimi. And he established the capital of his kingdom at Mithilapuri, and hence the region came to be known as Mithila. It is after the mythical king Mithi, after whose name that capital city was named. It came to be known as Mithilapuri. And since he was born out of the body of his father, he took the title Janaka. You know Janaka. And Janaka was the title of the kings of Mithilapuri. And his dynasty was also called Videha Janaka. There were 57 kings in the dynasty of Videha Janaka. And the legend over this Mithila extends over centuries. Means it may not all be history, but mythology, legends and history intertwined together, we get a kind of story about the history of Mithila. And Mithila is very important, especially because of its reference in Ramayana, the Hindu epic Ramayana, where Lord Ram finds his wife Sita, who is said to be the daughter of Janaka, who ruled Mithila from Janakpur, which is now in Nepal. So that's just a background of Mithila, that region, and its presence in a mythology, or presence in our epic Ramayana. And this art tradition was not known to the outer world, not even in the closest regions. This art form was not very familiar. How it became very popular? It became popular in a very later period, in the modern times only, and that was a result of an earthquake. So this art tradition was not very much known to the people even very close to Mithila. This art form became very famous after 1934. In 1934, what happened was there was an earthquake that affected that Mithila region very badly. So the earthquake affected northeastern Bihar, Nepal, which comprised the Madhubani region under the earthquake. So the British colonial officer to Madhubani, his name is William G. Archer. He visited the earthquake site, and he was inspecting the area of the damages that caused by the earthquake, and he was taking stock of the situation. And he accidentally came across certain areas where he found these paintings of a particular style. William G. Archer, who was the British officer, colonial officer for the region of Mithila or Madhubani, when he was visiting the site which was hit by earthquake, he came across accidentally certain paintings of a particular style, and he documented it, and he asked the people about the tradition. He asked the local people about the tradition of art, and whatever responses he got from the people, he documented them, and he wrote an article in Marg. And it was through this article the international community or the rest of India came to know about this particular art form. It is an art form which is practiced both by the higher caste and lower caste people of Mithila. So the Brahmin higher elite class, or what we say, the Kayastha Brahmins, and even the lower class like Dusat or the Chamar, all the different all the people of different communities, different castes practice this art form. So who are the people who do this painting? So in Warli we saw initially it was women folk. Like that in Madhubani painting also it is done by the women of different communities. So it is done by the women. So he asked the people from when on this art tradition is there? So the answer was since time ago. So from when on this art tradition is there? Since time ago. So nobody knows the exact history of this art tradition, but they believe that from the times of Ramayana, since the time when Ramayana was written, this tradition is there. And why it is done, how it is done, what are the motifs used in this painting, and what are the different styles of Madhubani painting, and what is the method of making it. And he got all these questions answered by the local people who are practicing it, and he documented it and he reported it to the world. Mithila or Madhubani art became widely recognized both nationally and internationally. So it was originated in the Madhubani village of the capital city of ancient Mithila, and the tradition says like this. They started to paint like this when Raja Janak, who was the father of Princess Sita, commissioned the local artists to decorate the walls and floor of his palace in order to prepare for his daughter's marriage. Before the marriage of Sita and Rama, Raja Janak wanted to decorate the walls of his palace. So since that time onwards, they have this tradition of painting. That is believed to be the origin or starting point of Madhubani art tradition. And it is done by Kayastha Brahmins, the Brahmins or the higher caste people, and the lower class people like Dusat, or the people like Chamar, Mali and Nat means actor. So all these different people, all of them practice this Madhubani art, Madhubani style of painting. There are certain ceremonies and occasions during which they do this painting very ceremoniously. It is also a domestic ritual activity of the samskara and vrata. Means there are 16 samskaras for them, and in different tradition you find sometimes 40 samskaras in certain traditions. In some other traditions you find 16 samskaras. So there are samskara means the rites of passage. The rites of passage. So in human life we pass through different stages. So these are the rites of passage. For example, pregnancy, birth, sixth day, namakarana, hair cutting, vivaha. So these are all events that a human life passes through, and during each event there is a ritual associated with each event which they practice. So there are 16 samskaras, and during these different samskaras, this painting becomes very important. It's a part of their ritual. It's a part of their ceremonies. So in order when they have a marriage at their home, they do painting at home, and they decorate the walls of their house. So that's the way they do this painting. There are 40 samskaras, 40. There are 40 samskaras in the Gautama Dharma Sutra from about the middle of the first millennium, and there are 16 samskaras in the Grihastha text of the centuries later. So I will show you the list of the samskaras. It like I said already, it marks the birth of a baby, naming, the Upanayana, means these different ceremonies they celebrate also with painting. So it's a part of their passages, or it's a part of their samskara. So in them to have a child, there is a ritual, Garbhadhana, nurturing the fetus right, Pumshavana, parting hair and baby shower, childbirth ceremony, naming the baby ritual, Namakarana, baby's first outing, Nishkramana, baby's first solid food, Annaprasna, baby's first haircut, Chudakarana, baby's earlobe piercing rite, Karmaveda, child's commencement to knowledge, Vidyarambha, child's entrance into school, Upanayana, Vedarambha. So there are different rituals associated with all these different samskaras. The wedding, Vivaha. Vivaha is a very important ritual for them. One of the most important ritual where you find so many paintings and associated practices. And the 16th one is Vratas. And finally cremation ritual is there. So these are the different rituals of these people. It's from different traditions. And where do they paint? There are different areas where they paint. Specifically speaking, Kohobar Ghar and Gosain Ghar. Kohobar Ghar is the bride and groom's chamber, and Gosain's Ghar is the divine chamber, the chamber of the Kula Devada or the family deity. And they also paint the floors also sometimes. They say Bhumi Shobha for painting the floor. Bhumi Shobha. Alpana or Bhumi Shobha is the traditional practice of drawing Rangoli. So they have the practice of doing that Rangoli on the floor. And there are 16 samskaras, and there are certain major festivals like Chhat Puja, Rahu Puja, Surya Puja, Vrat Katha. So these are the different festivals during which they paint. So these are different festivals: Chhat Puja, Rahu Puja, Surya Puja, Vrat Katha. These are the different festivals, and it's a history and tradition. All these festivals, most of them have some kind of Hindu affiliation. During the time of Vedas onwards, they said to have, they claim to have the practice of celebrating these different pujas. Maybe the form of the festivals or the rituals may have evolved over time, but they still practice this in their place. Chhat Puja, Rahu Puja, Surya Puja, Vrat Katha. So Vrat Katha is the girls or women, they practice upavas or they fast, and during their fast they read or recite various fasting stories of some gods and goddesses. So how gods and goddesses fasted, they listen to those stories or they read those stories, and they believe that it will make their life prosperous. And Surya Puja, Surya is an epithet of major Hindu gods like Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu. So, and they also believe Surya Puja is a very powerful kind of worship dedicated to sun god, and it is capable of providing the devotees many favors. And also it can destroy sins and relieve one of the effects of karma or the actions of the past. Rahu Puja, it's about celestial beings. So, Rahu is a shadow entity, one that causes eclipses and is the king of meteors. Rahu represents the ascension of moon in its processional orbit around the earth. The most important step for performing any kind of puja is to reduce the strength of any defect in a horoscope, is to perform the chant or mantra meant to reduce the strength of the defect, and the chant amounts to more than 1 lakh mantras in the Vedas. So these are different pujas they practice.